So ALV by object oriented concept. ALV by object oriented concept. We all know ALV stands for ABAP list viewer, ABAP list viewer, or application list viewer, ABAP list viewer or application list viewer. Okay, and we can create ALV by object oriented concept also. So if you all remember, we have seen the ALV, right? Normal ALV using normal report programming there without OOPS concept. So there what we did, we created a field catalog, and then we bind the data with the field catalog. At that time, we use the function module reuse ALV grid display. This is a standard function module that we used to bind the internal table data with the field catalog. Field catalog originally just defines the structure of our ALV display, structure like what will be the column name, its heading, and how it is going to behave, everything which we define inside the field catalog. Then what we do, we bind the data with the field catalog using this particular function module, which is reuse ALV grid display. This is your normal ALV. So now there are lots of differences in case of your OOPS ALV, right? So here we have certain steps. So steps that we need to follow here. Steps for creating a ALV grid using object oriented concept. There are certain steps which we need to follow if you want to create a OOPS ALV. So step one, we will create a field catalog. Okay, so we will create a field catalog here also, and for this field catalog we have a structure given by SAP system LVCS fcat, which we use it for creating the field catalog. Then what we do, we have another step 2. For OOPS ALV we need to create a container, so we create a custom control, that is container. We will create a screen. On that particular screen we will create a custom control or container on a particular screen. So on a screen, this will be our step 2. Then we will have step 3. So step 3 will be there. Step 3 will be create an object of container class. There is a standard container class CLGUI custom container, GUI custom container, which we create. There is a container class CLGUI custom container. We create the object of container class and we pass the name of container as a parameter to it. So the container name created in step 3, we pass the name of the container into this object. Step 2. In this step, the container we have created, we will simply pass into this object. This will be our step 3. Then we will have step 4. Step 4 will be create the object of ALV grid. Create the object of ALV grid. Okay. Create the object of ALV grid. So we have a grid class here, CL GUI ALV underscore grid. We create the object of this class, and what we do, and pass the container as a parent for this grid object, for this grid object. So whatever container object that we have created, it will act as a parent for this particular grid object. We will pass this parent for this grid object, and at last we will have the fifth step. We have an instance method, call instance method set table for first display. Set table for first display, which is an instance method for this grid class. We call it, and to display the ALV grid, we call this a method set table for first display to display the ALV grid. This is a method of our grid class. We call it, here we are creating object, so using this object we will call this method and we will display our ALV. So these are the 5 steps for our OOPS ALV that we must follow, okay, for creating a grid class. So I am going to simply take a simple requirement. I will take a simple requirement here. Requirement display, let's say, sales order data from VBAC table using OOPS ALV. This is my new requirement I'm going to take, and for this requirement I will create a OOPS ALV. Let's see that. I will open the server. Okay, so SE38 OOPS ALV. Create OOPS ALV executable package and transport request. Right. So as usual, what we do, we create our structure. So I'm going to simply create it. I will go to my VBAC table and I will simply get the fields from this table. Okay, so let's see some fields. I will create the structure. Types begin of TY sales order. I will get the fields from here, Control Y, and I will get the fields just here. Okay, it has not been copied out. Type VBL and VA, its type also. ERDAT, its type also. ERJDT. Then we will have another type, ERNUM. I will take one more field, sales document category. And then end of TY underscore sales order. Okay. This is my local structure. Then I will create the internal table. So data keyword for defining our internal table. So LT sales, type table of TY sales order, and I will have the work area LS sales, type TY sales order. Then we will define the field catalog, right? So we have a structure for field catalog. So LT field cat, type table of LVCSF cat. Okay. Then we will have the work area for our field catalog. So ls field cat, type LVCSF cat. This is the declaration part. So it has been done. Then I will create my select option. So data LV VBELN, type the data element VBELN VA, and I will create the select options as VBELN for local variable VBELN. This is what we have declared. I will activate it. Then I will give a name for this select option, right? Sales document number, activated. Okay, so I will have a start of selection and I will write the logic. So select VBELN ERDAT ERJDT ERNUM VBTYP from VBAK table into my internal table, so LTVBAK, where my sales document number in the select option. This is what we do. I am getting the query. Normal thing, we all know how to do all these things. Okay, it will be LT sales. Okay, normal thing, problem should be there. Now we will follow this step. First step, creation of field catalog. So I will create the field catalog. So let's create the field catalog for each field. Field name, I will pass the field name here VBELN, and I will pass a column heading for it also. So SCR textile, a column heading for it, sales document number, sales document number. I will append it. So append this ls field catalog to my internal table LT field catalog and clear the work area. So clear ls field cat. This is my first field. I will write field catalog for the rest of the field also. ERDAT, creation date, creation date. Then we will have another one, ERJDT, ERJDT, time. We will have another one, ERNUM, here username. Okay, username. Then we will have the last one, document category. So VBTYP, VBTYP, document category. Okay, let's activate it out. So this is my first step, creation of field catalog. Then we will have the second step, create a custom container on the screen. So I will define a screen for me. I will define one screen. So call screen 100. I'm defining here one screen. I will go for this screen. Yes, yes, normal screen, and I will create a container on it. So layout, okay, create this container here, custom control. I will give here the name container1. Okay, save it and go back, activate it. Okay, so this is my second step. Container has been created with the name container1. Then we will create the object of this CL GUI custom container, and we will pass the name of the container into this object. Okay, so create the object data hello container is equal to new CL GUI custom container. Okay, and here we have a parameter container name. If you will not pass here, you will get this error. You can check container name is mandatory, so we must pass the container name into this object. So I will pass here the container name. Container name is equal to the name of the container that we have just created, container1. Okay, let's check now. It has been resolved. Activate it. So this is my third step, creation of custom container. Then we will have the fourth step, create the ALV grid object. Okay, create the ALV grid object. So allo grid is equal to new CL GUI ALV grid, and pass the container as a parent. So I parent is equal to my object of container, hello container. Object of container here. Okay, activate it out. So now it has been created, and at last we have the fifth step. Call this method set table for first display to display the ALV grid. So I will call it pattern, ABAP object pattern. Our object name hello grid, class name CL GUI ALV grid, and then method name set table for first display. Set table for first display. Call it. We don't need this exporting parameter. I will remove it. I just need changing and IT field catalog. So I'll pass my internal table here, binding the data with the field catalog. So LT field cat. Okay, uncomment the exceptions. As usual, uncomment the exceptions and activate it out. So these are the steps for creation of a OOPS ALV. Create the structure, internal table declaration, creation of field catalog. We declare our select option. Then in a start of selection, I have written the logic. After that, I have defined the field catalog for every column. After that, what I did, I created the screen here, custom container screen. On that screen, I have created a custom container. Then I created a container class and I passed the name of the container. After that, I created the grid class. This container will act as a parent for this grid object. So we need to pass here I parent parameter our grid object. And then we have this method set table for first display, which we can call and we can display our ALV. Okay, so let's activate it and go and check. I will pass here 1 to 3 and I will execute it and see all the data I'm getting. Right, I'm getting all the data here. So is there any doubt how to create a OOPS ALV? You can create any OOPS ALV for any kind of or let's say purchase order also, material master also, normal custom table also, right? So this is your normal ALV. Then if you all remember, we can integrate with this basic list also. This was the same thing that we have seen in our normal ALV class also. So here we have some different concept. In the previous session, we saw the concept of events, right? We saw the concept of event. Using event, we can call the one method of different class from a method of a different class, right? Method of one class can call the method of different class using this event. So same concept is here. If you want to display interactive ALV now, so interactive OOPS ALV, interactive OOPS ALV, OOPS ALV, interactive OOPS ALV. For that, again, I will take some requirement. I will go for now Mara table. Mara table. Let's see what kind of data it has, and go for MAKT table. MAKT table. FG1 to 6 up to FG233. Okay, FG1 to 6. So let's see that field. FG1 to 6 up to FG233. G233. Activate it out. Yeah, we have lots of data which we can use here. All right, that's good. So now I will take a requirement. Interactive OOPS ALV. Very, very important. So let's say I want to display Mara data, which is material master header. So I want to display Mara data on one ALV, and when I am double clicking on the ALV output, double clicking on the ALV output, it should display me another ALV from MAKT, material description table. Okay, now this is a different kind of requirement. So we will have two ALV now, two screens we will need, right? This is known as interactive ALV. We can interact. So on one ALV, or you can call it a basic list. Another ALV, you can call it, let's say, secondary list. Okay, basic list and secondary list. It should display me another ALV, which will be my secondary list, right? It will display me another ALV, which will be my secondary list. So if you want to interact it in our ALV grid class, so solution for it, we have a double click event in our CLGUI ALV grid class, which we can use for this kind of requirement. If you are getting this kind of requirement, you can use this double click event for this kind of requirement. If you want, you can go and check. So let's go to SE24 CLGUI ALV grid class. I will open it. I will go to the event section, and in the event section, I will check the double click event. Yeah, see, there is a double click event. So this event, we can use it for double clicking, and we can write the logic. And if you remember, what is the concept of event that we have seen in the previous session? In object-oriented programming, using event, method of one class can call the method of another class. So we will have a triggering method. So using double click, when I will double click on the first ALV, a event will be raised. So we will have to define a event handler method also. There we will display the second ALV. So this is the concept which I am going to use to display the Mara and MAKT details. Okay. So I will go and create a class. I will go and create a program. Interactive OOPS ALV. Interactive OOPS ALV. Okay, it is already there. Let's create something else. Interactive OOPS ALV. Right. For type executable program, package and transport request. So here we have to display two ALV. So I will need two structures also. So start with Mara, begin of ty Mara, and I will give the name of the fields. This is my Mara table. Let's see some fields here. Matnar, type its data element, Matnar, then ERSDA, type, yeah, ERSDA. Then we have time also. I don't know, no need time. I will use another field. Let's say MTART, material type. It's data element, material type. I will use MBRSH also. So MBRSH type, it's data element. Then I will take material medical also. So medical type, its data element, medical. So 5 fields I am selecting from my Mara table. Okay. Then I will have a MAKT data. So types begin of UI underscore MAKT, and I will create the fields for it. So MAKT table, material description table, and I will take the cell fields from here. Matnar, type Matnar, another field Spras, type SPRS, then material description MAKTX, type MAKTX material description. Okay. Let's use this field also, MAKTG, type MAKTG. Our structure declaration, it is done. I will end this structure TYMAKT. Normal thing, declaration of structure. Create printer and activate it. Then I will declare the internal table for both of them. So data LT Mara, type table of UI Mara, then LS Mara, type TY Mara. Then for MAKT also, so LT MAKT, type table of TY MAKT, and then we'll have the work area, so LS MAKT, type TY underscore MAKT. Very simple. Activate it out. Then what we will do, we will create the field catalog. So create the two field catalog for two ALV. So LT field cat1, type table of my LVCS fcat, then LS field cat1, type my LVCS fcat, then LT field cat2, type table of LVCS fcat, which is my structure for my field catalog. So LV field cat2. So then we will have the work area also, ls field cat2, type my LVCS fcat, right? Normal thing, we have declared the internal table and work area for both the field catalogs. Then we will need container and grid class. So this container and grid class, we are going to simply declare in the declaration part. I will create both of them directly here. Hello container1 is equal to new CL GUI custom container, and I will pass the name of container name here is equal to, let's say, container1. First container for first ALV, I will create it at last. Then we need the grid object, so hello grid1 is equal to new CL GUI ALV grid. Okay, and I will pass here the parent. Parent is equal to my hello container 1. So this is for container 1. We will need another one for the second ALV where we will display the MAKT also. So container 2 is equal to new CL GUI custom container. Here we will pass the container name is equal to container 2 and then we will have the grid 2 object. So data hello grid 2 is equal to new CL GUI ALV grid. Okay, I will pass the parent parameter is equal to hello container 2. Very simple. We have created our grid 1 and then we have created our grid 2 object, right? Let's activate it out. Field catalog is done. Then we will create the select option. So data LV Matner this time. Type, what is the data element? Matner itself. So Matner. And then we will create a select option for it. So select options. It will be S Matner for my LV Matner. Right? Select option creation. This is the normal thing. So my first ALV is going to raise a event. My first ALV is going to raise a event, and to handle it, we will create a event handling class. We will have a event handler method also. So I will declare one class here. Class. I will name it event handler again. Definition and class. We will declare the public section here. Public section. In it, we will declare our event handler method. So I will name it display MAKT. For event, double click of class name CL GUI ALV grid. Declaration, double click event for our class name. Okay, then we will have the implementation. So class event handler implementation and class, and we will have our method logic here. So method display MAKT, right? Display MAKT, and in it we will write the logic for our second ALV. This will be raised. We will check it out. So this is definition. Then we will go to start of selection and we will display our first ALV. So start of selection and we will display our first ALV. So select what are the fields that we have selected. Let's go to Mara table and check it out. Mara table. Fields is Matner, so Matner, then ERSDA, ERSDA, then another field is MTART, MTART, then we have MBRSH and MATKL, medical. Okay, that's fine. From my Mara table into LT Mara, where Matner in S Matner, Matner in S Matner. Okay, so activate it. There is some issue. Into table, into table. So this is my select query. Then I will create the field catalog. So first field catalog creation, ls field cat1, field name Matner, then ls field cat scr textl column heading, which will be material number, right? Then we will append it. So append this field cat 1 to lt field cat1, and we will simply clear the work area. So clear the work area. This is my first column. I will create multiple columns similarly for all of them. What is the second field? Second field is ERSDA. What is this ERSDA? Created on. So ERSDA. We will give the column heading as created on. Then we will have another column, third, which is MTART, material type. So MTART, material type. We'll have another column after material type, which is the name of the column, MBRSH industry sector. So MBRSH, which is my industry sector. Industry sector, right? Sector. Then we will have another column, Matcal. So Matcal. And what is its name? Matcal is material group. So material group. Okay, this is the creation of our field catalog. And then we will simply create one screen. So call screen 100, same thing that we have just seen 10 minutes ago. We will create our container 1 here. So Mara display, go for layout and create the container on it. Custom control, display it, container 1. Container 1, save it, go back and activate it. This is our first ALV. Now on this container 1, if you remember, we have already created our object for both container and grid class for container 1. So I will simply call my set table for first display. So pattern, ABAP object pattern, hello grid 1, CL GUI ALV grid, right? And we will call the method set table for first display. Okay, we will pass our field catalog here and internal table LT Mara and LT field cat1. Uncomment the exceptions and check. So this is our first ALV, right? When I am going to double click on the output of this ALV, what you are going to see here, this event handling should be triggered. So I'll put a breakpoint here to check whether it is calling or not, and I will activate it. Okay, so breakpoint here. I'm going for execute button. I will pass some value in matter. Okay, so what was the output? FG126 to FG233. FG126 to FG233. Okay, I will execute it. Yes, we are getting our first display. First output is getting displayed. Now I will double click on the first row. This is not calling, right? Our breakpoint is not hitting. So there is some problem. We have defined our event handler method. What is the problem? Let's check it out. SC38. I will go and check the program again. So here I have declared this event handler class. In it I have declared a event handler method. I am raising the event from my first ALV, but I have missed one step. Register the event handler method. For any event we must register it using the set handler. So I just need to register it. I will simply do the registration part. I will create the object of my event handler class. So LOBJ is equal to new event handler class. What is the name of our class? Event handler. Okay, event handler, and we will do the registration. So set handler our display MAKT method. So display MAKT for this grid 1. So when I will double click, this registration will be done and this breakpoint will be hit. That breakpoint that we have kept here, it will be hit here now. So let's check it again. I will execute, pass the value again, F6126, F6223, execute it, double click. Yes, breakpoint is hitting. So this breakpoint is hitting. Now in this method, I can simply write the logic for my second ALV. We can simply write the logic for our second ALV part. So I'll go back to my program and I will check it. This is my event handler. Here we will write the logic for our secondary list. So where is my notion? Yeah. Here another step. Whenever we will double click on any row of the basic list we will get the selected list, get the index of the selected list of the selected row from get selected rows method. Get selected rows method of CL GUI ALV grid class. We have a class, the same class CL GUI ALV grid. It has a method get selected rows. It will return you the selected row number that you have selected. So I will simply call it inside this method. Let's call it pattern, ABAP object pattern, grid 1. Class name is CL GUI ALV grid. And we have a method here, get selected rows. So get selected rows. We will call this method get selected rows. It will return us the index that we have selected. So LT rows. I will go inside it and I will find the data type for this selected row. Yes. LVCT row. I will bring the structure. In this structure, if you go and check, we have here index. This index will return you the index that you have selected. The index that you have selected from there you will receive here. So declare it. Data LT rows type table of the structure that we have taken LVCS row. ls rows, type lvcs row. Okay, simple declaration of this internal table and work area. Then I will read this, the row that I have selected from there, I will read it. So read table lt rows from my work area name, right? I'm going to simply read it, ls rows index 1, not from, it will be into index 1. I will do the size sub rc check, size sub rc equals to 0. If we have selected any data, then I will read my Mara table. So read table, I will get the primary key from my internal Mara table, this LT Mara, and based on that I will write the logic for my MAKT, and then I will display the ALV part. Okay, so I will read my Mara table on which row that I have selected there. So into ls Mara index ls rows index. Based on the index I will read it. If it is returning me any data, so if size sub rc is equal to 0, if it is returning me any data, then what I will do, I will simply write one select query on my MAKT table. So select what are the columns of our MAKT, Matner SPRAS. So select Matner SPRAS. Another field is MAKTX and MAKTG. So MAKTX and MAKTG from your MAKT table into internal table, so into table LTMAKT, where your Matner is equal to ls Mara hyphen Matner. Whatever Matner you have selected, based on that same, we will fetch the data and we will simply do the display part, right? So we are getting our data now. And when we are getting data, we can create the second field catalog and we can display the second ALV. So let's create it. First, I will clear the field cat 2 and I will create it here. Field cat 2, field name, field name Matner, then column heading, so SCR text L is equal to material number, then append it. So append my field cat 2 to LT field cat 2 and clear the work area. So clear ls field cat 2. This is our first column. Then I will go for the second one also. After material number, we have another one, SPRAS. This is language, right? Let me check it again. MAKT. What is its column heading? Language key. So SPRAS, language key. Its column heading, language key. Then third column, not this thing. Material description. So MAKTX, material description, right? Then we will have another field here. So fourth column, MAKTG. So what is the name of it? Material description for uppercase. So I will just name it material. It's a description, DS. Simple. 4, we have created our field catalog for our MAKT table, and then we will simply call it our set table for first display. So pattern, ABAP object pattern, this time grid 2, and we will call our set table for first display. So set table for first display method. Okay, we will call here and we will pass our LT MAKT table. Then we will pass our field catalog here, LT field cat 2. We will uncomment the exceptions. Okay, very simple. And we will create our container where we want to display our second ELV. So 200, double click. It should be 4 characters, so 0, 200. Yeah, double click. I will name it MAKT display and I will create a container here also. So layout, custom container, I will name it container 2. Container 2. Okay, save, back and activate it. Come back and activate it. Now please understand this program. This is your ALV interactive OOPS ALV. We have created structure 1 for first display, second structure for the second list, which is secondary list, created the internal table and work area, created the field catalog for both the ALV, two field catalog. Then we created the container and grid objects, right? So when I am double clicking on it, a event will be raised. So I am clicking, I have created a event handling class for this double click event of the grid class. Then in it, I have written the logic. In it, I have written the logic. I will get the selected rows. I will read it. And based on it, I am going to write the logic. I will create the field catalog and I am displaying it. But before that, we have the basic list. So for the basic list, we have written our logic. We have created the field catalog and then we are simply displaying it. So for the event handler class, we have registered the event handler using the set handler, right? This is the approach. Now I'm going to check. So activate it, execute it, and I will pass the input. I will get my basic list. This is my 100 screen. I can go and check system status. Yeah, screen number 100 where my basic list is displayed, and I will do the double click. This is my secondary list. System status 200 screen. So here I am displaying the MAKT display, material number, language key, material description, and this is in uppercase or lowercase, right? So we have created this OOPS interactive ALV. Any question here? How to get all these things?
No.
No questions.
Is it clear?
Yes.
So this is the second way where we have displayed our ALV report. So ALV object model, if we display, see the ALV object model, ALV object model. If we talk about it, yeah, ALV object model. So we had one class reuse ALV, one method, one function module we have seen, reuse ALV grid display for our normal ALV. This is for normal ALV, where normal ALV here in the using this FM, using this function module, we get our ALV in full screen, right? Then we have our OOPS ALV. So second one, CL GUI ALV grid class, GUI ALV grid class, right? This is our OOPS ALV. We have a method here, set table for first display. First display. What this method does, it returns us a ALV in a container, right? So if you, let's say I have a requirement, I want to display full screen ALV, full screen ALV using OOPS concept. So how I will do that? So SAP has simply given another class for this thing. The class name is CL-SALV table class. CL-SALV table class. Very important. Also known as SALV. Also known as SALV. So we get a ALV in full screen display. Full screen display using this class, which is CL-SALV table class. Okay. You can get in container also using this. We can get ALV in container also. I don't prefer that. I mostly prefer full screen using this class CL-SALV table class. This is your CL-SALV table class. We can have all the features of ALV grid using this class, except editable ALV. We cannot create a editable ALV using this class. If you want to create a editable, you have these two classes, you can go for that, but using this we cannot use it. Also, we don't need to create a field catalog. We don't need to create a field catalog for using this class. We don't need to create that. We don't need to create a field catalog using this class. Okay. So if I talk about this class, we have a factory method. Will return the object of this class. It will return the object of this class. And once you have the object of this class, what you can do, you can simply display the ALV. So we have a display method. It will display the ALV. Okay, it will display the ALV, right? CL-SALV table class. This ALV is also known as SALV. So let's use this particular class. I am going to simply display my employee data using this class. I will create a simple program, CL-SALV table class, ALV by CL-SALV table. So executable, package and transport request. I will declare the structure for my employee data. So begin of TY employee, EMPID, type data element, employee name, type its data element, then department, type its data element, manager, type its data element. Okay, and of TY employee, I will declare the internal table. So LT employee, type table of TY employee, and then select option. So variable creation, LVMPID, type data element, and then select option. So select option as EMPID for my variable, right? Then we will have start of selection, and we will write the logic, simple logic, select employee ID, name, column, from my table name, which is my employee table. So employee tab into table, my internal table, where EMPID in SCMP.
Amrit, we don't hear you.
Am I audible now?
Yes, yes, now it's audible.
From how many time I was not audible?
For 3 minutes.
Okay, for
Um,
three. There, you saw this?
hmm?
Okay. So this is the structure declaration, right? We have declared the structure for our employee data. You understand this now? I was audible, right?
Yeah, this was clear.
Okay, okay. So we have a factory method of our CLSLV table class, and in this class we have it. This factory method will return us the object of this class, and then we will simply call a instance method display to display the ALV. So I took a requirement to display the employee data. I created a structure, internal table, select option, then I wrote the logic. Now if I go and check my class, this class, it has a factory method here. This factory method, if you go and check it, you will find that this is returning a object of this class, same class, CLSLV table class. So this factory method will return you. Here is a parameter t table. Using this parameter, you will pass the internal table. And then we have a display method here. So display method here. Using this display method, we can simply display the ALV, right? So I called this factory method. I called this factory method. Let me call it again since I was on mute. So pattern, ABAP object pattern, class name, and factory method I have passing here. I will enter. So uncomment the exporting. Try and catch, always uncomment it. This is the best programming practice. Then in this importing, you will get the object. So I will declare a object here, data LOs, let's say ALV, type ref to my CLSLV table class. Let's bring the name of the class CLSLV table. Okay, CLSLV table. Here I will get the object. So LOALV I will pass. It will return me the object LOALV. Then I will pass my internal table LT employee. And once I have the object, I will call the display method. So LOALV display. Display. Simply call it display. It will display the ALV. Simplest OOPS ALV or simplest ALV that you will see, SALV. You don't need to create field catalog for it. We don't need to create the field catalog. By default, whatever the field label that you have passed in the data element, it will be fetched and it will be displayed. So let's go and check. Execute it. I will pass here the value 105 and I will execute it. See here, ALV display, right? You don't need to pass anything automatically, column name or it will be fetching. So easiest ALV, SALV, right? Call the factory method, which is a static method, call it, and then what you will do, you will display it. Is this concept clear?